Hey guys, my name is Manish Arora. Welcome to Urban Acharya. Today we are going to talk about a very specific topic. Let's say you are facing a panel or you're facing an interviewer and suddenly this question is thrown at you. Do you have more interviews lined up? What will you do in that situation? Will you say, yes, I have other interviews lined up with other organizations? Or will you say, no, this is the only interview that I have right now. There's nothing in the pipeline. It's a very tricky situation. And in today's video, we'll talk about this specific situation and how to deal with this situation in a lot more detail. Let me tell you a bit of some intricate details of this whole recruitment process. A lot of people mistake this process as a series of question-answer sessions, or it's a kind of a professional conversation. It's not just that. There are so many other facets are involved in this whole recruitment process. Now, long back, one of the talent acquisition leaders of a large MNC told me that by the time the candidate comes for the interview or a face-to-face interview, we're just looking for two things. Number one, is the candidate likable? And number two, can this candidate do the job that we are right now hiring for? Are you getting what I'm trying to get to? Your CV or resume during the shortlisting process has already given a lot of information about you to the hiring manager, to the organization. And basis that, they must have made or created a profile of yours in their mind. And because you have been shortlisted for the next round, which is an interview face-to-face round or virtual round, it means that the profile that they have created on the basis of that document or resume or CV is matching with the job description. And that's the reason they have decided to talk to you about it. So please understand that during the shortlisting, there's a lot of information already given to them. Now, these hiring managers or the panel or the recruitment managers will try to validate the profile that they have created in their mind about you basis what you have mentioned in your CV with you face to face. So they will get deeper into the details and they'll try to figure out two things. One, can there be an issue around cultural fitment? Are you going to be a team player, or will you be nicely fitting in the company culture? And two, the skill sets that are required to do the job. Have you demonstrated those skill sets in your past experience? That's where they will focus on. Asking this question, do you have more interviews lined up, is part of that assessment process. Let us try to understand this in a little more detail. Let's say you say, yes, I have more interviews lined up. What will happen in that case? Number two, if you say, no, I don't have any other interviews lined up, what will happen in that case? Now, in the first case, when you say yes, there could be multiple scenarios. The panel or the organization may think that you are being sought out candidate because the competition may be interested in you, and therefore you have a lot more interviews lined up. So they will think that, okay, you are a high potential candidate, and that's why everyone is trying to recruit you. Number two, they may think that you may not be very serious about this conversation because you have other opportunities also lined up. Number three, they may also think that since you have other interviews lined up, other opportunities available, you will get on the negotiation table when it comes to salary and the compensation. Now, if you say no, you don't have, then what could be the possible scenarios? Number one, the organization may think that you are an average performer and that's why you don't have any other interviews lined up. They may also think that because you just have one interview, you may be desperate to join them and therefore they can negotiate it much better. So it's a very, very tricky scenario. And in this video, I'm going to tell you how to answer these questions. So by now you've got a good idea that this is a double-edged sword. You cannot really say either yes or a no. You have to figure out a common ground. A common ground that can bring a convincing and satisfactory answer. Let's try to explore a potential answer. You can always say that you are keeping your options open. You have more interviews lined up, but you're keeping your options open. And at the same time, you can talk about that you're specifically interested in this organization, in this profile, because this is what you want to do in your life. This organization, this profile will give a lot of opportunity for you to exercise your skills, to learn a lot of new things. Now that you have got a clue, you've got some directions in terms of how to answer this question or how to get to a common ground, I'm going to suggest you 3 important tips that you need to take care of while you are framing your answer. Number 1, be honest. I'm not asking you to become brutally honest, but try to be more smart. You can say that, yes, I have more interviews lined up and I'm focused on this interview right now. In present, I'm with you. And that's a great answer. What you have to avoid is trying to be manipulative. Understand that hiring managers are very, very experienced. They must have taken thousands of interviews and must have seen like thousands of people like you. So don't try to come across as a person who is manipulative. Number 2, try to show your keenness, that you are very keen about the discussion that is happening right now. You're very keen about this organization. And be prepared with your fact sheet. Try to explain why you will prefer this organization over other interviews that you've lined up. So when you bring that keenness in front of the panel, you score some brownie points. And number 3, focus on the job profile. Now, the moment this question is asked to you, try to change the direction of the conversation and bring the panel or the interviewer on the profile. Try to explain to them that what are your expectations from the profile? What are your expectations from the organization? What are those specific things that you are focused on right now as far as the job profile is concerned? And what you plan to achieve through them? Once you bring these meaningful conversation points, you will have a very positive outcome from the interview, as well as you will sail through these questions, specifically this one where the interviewer has asked you, do you have more interviews lined up? I hope this was helpful. But before I close this video, I'm going to give you 2 small tips. Number 1, even if you are not considering the current organization over the others, still go ahead and have a very open conversation about it. You can always say that you have more interviews lined up. There are profiles which are much more complex and much more scaled up, and you're looking for them over this one. But have a very open conversation, because what will happen is that your honesty will be appreciated, and you can always say that you wanted to give it a shot and try to explore the current opportunity in much more detail. That will leave a very strong positive impression, rather than telling that I just came for the experience. That's not the great answer. Number 2, every word that you're going to speak during the conversation will help the panel, will help the interviewer assess if you are the right fit for the role or not. So please make it a point that you spend enough time preparing for your interviews, and don't depend on impromptu answering these questions. Be as much prepared as possible. Thank you so much, guys. I hope this was useful. If you are new to this channel, please do subscribe, share, and like. Take care. Bye-bye.